Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's Search Engine Journal webinar. Hope you're having a great day. It's sunny here in West Virginia. Use the chat to let us know where you're calling in from. Today, I'm joined by Margarita, content marketing lead at SEMrush, and Andy, the co-founder and CMO at Orbit Media. Margarita, Andy, thank you for joining us here today.
Glad to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. So today we are going to talk about how to use AI to enhance your SEO and your content. It is definitely something that we've been talking a lot about at SEJ, and so I am not going to take up too much of your time. I'm going to go over some quick housekeeping and get it over to these two. So if you want to share any cool tidbits from today on social, use hashtag SEJ webinars. If you have any questions for Andy or Margarita, we're going to do our best to take questions at the end, but this is a really good, robust presentation, so we might not get to quite all of them. We do have closed captioning. It's a little CC in the top right of your screen, so if you need that, give that a click. If you do have any technical difficulties, use the chat to let us know. And if we have any resources, those will be in your follow-up email when you get your the recording and the slides from today's webinar. So with that, at the end of the webinar, we do have a quick survey. If you could take about 30 seconds, let us know how today's webinar went, how we can make them better for you in the future. We appreciate that. But with that, I'm going to get out of here. Andy, Margarita, it's all yours, and I'll see everybody at the end.
Thank you so much. Great. So I guess I'll get it started. So yeah, my name is Margarita. Super happy to be here. I'm based in Barcelona in Spain, and I'm a content marketing lead at SEMrush. And while we at SEMrush, we do our best to both use AI and also create AI-powered products for our customers. I feel like while everyone is talking about how it's important to leverage AI for your content, for your SEO, it's not always straightforward and clear how exactly should you do it, what not to do, what to do. So I hope today's webinar will, help you answer some of those questions. All right, let's get started. So earlier this year, we at SEMrush ran a survey with 1,700 businesses, and we found out that the increase in the quality of your content is the second top tactic for ranking organically. So while content quality is so important for ranking, for your brand image, for conversions, so how exactly does AI-generated content affect this? So the first thing to say here is you shouldn't be afraid of using AI for your SEO and your content, as long as your content ends up being original and helpful. So right now, Google's guidelines are AI neutral. What Google cares about is content quality and utility. So does it matter if your blog post has been written by AI? No. Does it matter if if it has original ideas, it creates a good user experience, it's useful? Yes. Also, AI content is now, you can definitely feel confident to publish on your website, to use it for different channels. What you need to think about and care about is combining AI with original ideas and human oversight. And yes, it's true that now with more AI-generated content, there will be more competition, but at the same time, original human content will stand out even more. And again, what it means is not avoiding using AI at all. It means leveraging the best AI tools can offer, and again, combining it with our expertise, with human oversight, with human editors, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to walk you through some high-level tips and suggestions for how to do it, and then Andy will show us quite a few of real-life case studies. So let's see what are those main ways you can use to stand out in the age of AI content. First, and it's really, really important, is integrating original thoughts and research into your content. So right now, more than ever, you should prioritize content based on real life experience. So things you could do for this include: one, publishing original research. For example, you could run a survey with your audience, or you could test the products you're writing about. Number two, leveraging your own real life experience. For instance, if you are an agency and you work with clients, you could create content based on those case studies and projects that you create for your clients. Number three, working with subject matter experts. For instance, you could interview someone from your company, or you could work with an influencer or a thought leader from your sector. And another tip here is creating original visual content. So, for example, while we have amazing AI image generators, video generators, they're still not quite there when it comes to business content, such as graphs, infographics. So this is also something you could leverage. And a great way to do this would, again, be combine an AI tool and this original research. You could feed AI data from your survey. You could feed AI insights from an interview you have created, you have run with this expert, and then you can use AI to actually write the content and thereby save time and resources. And again, what we see happening, what the changes that Google has been announcing also kind of confirm this point of view. For example, the Google's search quality rater guidelines, which used to be EAT, the expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, have been updated with one new pillar, which is the experience. And it makes a lot of sense because with more AI-generated content, originality and those EEAT signals are getting even more important. And the experience pillar pretty much stands for the importance of the experience and firsthand or real-life experience that the content creator or the author has on this topic. For example, what this could mean is content bylined by industry experts and people, who have this real-life experience in the sector on the topic will again be prioritized. So this is a very nice example of how this could be done. It's an article, it's a platform where you can learn about creating your store on Etsy. And the author of the article is pretty much telling about their own experience with their own Etsy store. So they are showing real life numbers, they are sharing real life tactics, and they are even including screenshots from their Etsy store. Can you use AI to write this article? Absolutely. But again, it's a combination of both, and I think that's like the sweet spot that everyone has to go for. The second thing that I think we should consider is the off-page authority signals. With more AI-generated content being rolled out, it's getting more difficult for Google to rank and to distinguish between original content and content that's less original. So I guess it's safe to assume that those off-page SEO signals, such as backlinks and mentions, will become even more important. And this could mean, again, creating research-driven content, creating visual content, thought leadership content. But it could also mean opting for story-driven content marketing, embracing your brand story, your mission, focusing on building a community of people who will keep coming back for your content and to your website, and driving positive change in this community with things that you publish and with your voice. So one of my favorite examples here, which I always share, is iFixit. iFixit is an e-commerce website where you can buy repair kits for fixing your tech at home, and they drive a lot of mentions, a lot of organic traffic because of their brand story in their mission, which is called the right to repair. So what they say is they believe that everyone has to be able to fix their consumer electronics on their own because it's cheaper, because it's better for the environment. And because of this strong messaging and the content they create around this messaging, not only they have millions of backlinks, but also as of summer this year, they were attracting over 2 million of organic traffic monthly based on the SEMrush data. Tip number 3 is always ensure fact checking and human editing. Again, while AI is a great tool, it's still not perfect. And there, the so-called hallucinations might happen. So I think it's really, really important that, whatever information we get pulled by AI, that we fact check it, and that you also keep working with human editors and then subject matter experts who would edit for style, rewrite vague sections, take out things that don't make sense, and also like add add some bits and pieces that AI maybe cannot replicate. And again, with this synergy, I think your business could create beautiful things faster and cheaper. Another thing to consider is it's really important now more than ever to create content that cannot be easily replicated directly on the SERP. So here I'm going to quote Kyle Byers. It's our head of organic search at SEMrush. So what Kyle told me is that basically Google's search generative experience will take up a lot of space, even more than things that we're used to, ads, feature snippet. So to hedge against this risk, you should focus on creating like great experiences and like really pages with deep and useful information that cannot easily be replicated to those AI summaries. So what it means, again, making your content interactive. So what we really focus on at SEMrush is when we write a blog post or any other page, if we mention a concept, or we mention that the user, like the reader, has to take a step or to do something, we not only we explain what it is, but we always make sure, we explain how to do it. We provide examples, we provide screenshots, we create visual content. So building this great user experience with your content, again, can help you kind of maintain the CTR that you have on your content coming from organic traffic. So I took this screenshot from the article published by Google. It's an example of how this AI summary can look like. Because another thing to think of that SEO folks here will probably need to consider soon is not only optimizing your content for a feature snippet, but now also to appear in those AI summaries. But at the same time, we can see that, with this and with different search engines like Bing becoming more important, and with AI search, SEO will not, it will not go anywhere, but it will become more complex. So it's important that you also invest in other channels where your content can be searched. And this could include social media, video platforms, and so on and so forth. All right. Another thing, and Andy will really show you how it's done in practice, is when you work, or let's say, or even if you're just starting to work with AI, with ChatGPT or other tools, is, don't expect to get a perfect result from the start, and treat AI like as if it was a person. When you're working with a person, you're having a conversation, you don't expect to get like the full answer or like the job done immediately. So make sure that the prompts that you use are very specific and detailed, and make sure to ask follow-up questions, use multi-step prompts, but again, also fact check the information and ask AI for proof of any claims that you feel like, are questionable. And when it comes to SEO, I think the best way to approach this is to use the so-called hybrid approach. Because yes, you can use AI to create content, and it's going to be original. But when it comes to keyword research or search intent analysis, and basically the real life data on your competitors, this is where you still need tools and manual work to more or less get there. And I think a good way to solve this is to use AI tools that also offer real life SEO data, such as data on keywords and on search intent analysis. One of those tools is our new Content Shake tool by SEMrush, and Andy is going to show it, I think, a bit later. Yes, and so for example, can we use AI for keyword research? Right now, I would say not so much. And again, it has to, at the very least, it has to do with being able to access updated data and information. AI might produce convincing information, but it might still be inaccurate. But again, if you kind of combine it with the tools that provide you this data, you can still use AI with many aspects of, for example, keyword research and keyword optimization. For instance, you could brainstorm content ideas based around keywords you have already found, or you could assess whether your text is optimized for the keywords that you selected, or you can use it for keyword clustering and mapping. And basically, there are many more kind of creative and out-of-the-box ways to use AI for, for content research, for content creation, content optimization. And I'll hand it over to Andy because Andy has really impressive examples of how to do it. So I'm really excited to learn, hear them as well. Andy, over to you.
Okay, thanks for that introduction. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to share this screen, which you can see now, and then go into presentation mode. Margarita, can you see this? Look
Yes.
good? Okay.
Yes.
Well, first of all, thank you for that intro, and always good to collaborate with you. I've known Margarita for many years. She and I actually are co-instructors for a class every year in Barcelona, which I'd be honored to visit each year. It's a school called Harbor Space. And so I know that I've known her for so long, and it's really fun to do something together here in the real world in a way. I'm only going to be using ChatGPT, but I'm going to be using a paid version. So it's ChatGPT Plus, which allows me to use a feature called Advanced Data Analysis. That allows me to upload files into ChatGPT. So you're going to see me do lots of analysis, giving it Google Analytics, giving it Google Search Console, giving it data, and then asking it to generate content or generate ideas or perform analysis. So to turn that on, you have to have that account, of course, pay the $20 a month, and then click the three dots, go to settings and beta, toggle on advanced data analysis. That's it. Now, when you start a new chat, you can come up here and from chat, click on that and then choose advanced data analysis. Now you've got the little plus button. Now you can upload data, right? These are not lazy prompts I'm showing you. There's nothing I'm going to do that I can do really in one prompt. I'm mostly going to give it data, ask for insights, and then ask for action based on the insights. Just the way I've used analytics. I've done Google Analytics work since before Google Analytics had bought Urchin. This is like 20 years ago. I've done 22 years of SEO, which makes me more senior on the SEO side. I've done 22 weeks of AI, which makes me kind of more senior on the AI side. It's all so new, but it's going to be fun to walk through this with you. And you're going to watch me give it data, do analysis, look for ideas, and then take action, right? Just the way we'd use any tool, right? It's like insights to action. Okay, first I'm going to do the use case that you might be expecting, which is to recommend on-page SEO edits. This is kind of an obvious thing. I wanted to recommend improvements to my content that will help improve the relevance of that content. And the key phrase, my hypothesis here is that my content will not only rank higher for its primary target key phrase, but it will rank higher for an ever-growing number of key phrases if I incorporate the phrases that it's already ranking for, but aren't included on the page. You're going to watch me do this, so I'm going to find out all the phrases that I'm already ranking for, but that I did not include on the page, right? These sort of accidental rankings. So I'm in Google Search Console, obviously free tool. Obviously, you are my people. We're all in the tribe here. We all know. We all have the. If I say GSC, you know what I mean. I'm going to narrow down to one specific URL. In this case, it's an article that I wrote about how to make social media videos. I'm going to exclude all the branded queries, navigational queries, not really relevant to me today. So I'm going to take out my name of the brand, and then I'm going to click export. Okay. In that case, I usually go look at the data first to make sure there's nothing weird in it. And then I'm going to upload this in a prompt saying first, I'm giving you Google Search Console data showing the search performance of a single URL. Can you analyze? It's a good starting point. Give it a file, give it a CSV. Can you analyze? My next prompt is to kind of clean up the data. There's too many rows in there that are too similar. I want to just consolidate that. So I ask it to first merge. You're an SEO expert, highly proficient in keyword analysis. Merge the rows with very similar queries into single rows with a single representative marketing key phrase. The word marketing is helpful in there. And merging is a verb that we use all the time with AI when you're having it work with data. And as it do so, combine the data, add impressions, add clicks, average click-through rates, the average search position. And then the last part, quite important, provide link to download, because I always want to see what the data looks like. So here it is. It combined a bunch of rows. I got the link to download. Click that, open that, check that. Anytime you give it a file and ask it to manipulate the file, you want to also say, provide a link to download, open the file, look at the file, make sure there's nothing weird. Looks pretty good to me. All the key phrases that it ranks for, right? The keyword performance of a single URL. My next prompt. Here's the web page, giving it the content. For the data that you just analyzed, evaluate this content's keyword usage and frequency for all the keywords in that data set. Copy, paste. Here's the article, right? There are character limits with ChatGPT. Anthropic's tool Claude has bigger character limits, but for the most part, this is going to be sufficient. It's just for one single article, and it does a bunch of stuff first: text pre-processing, key phrase extraction, and so I'm confident that I'm ready to that it found the gaps, the keyword gaps. And my next prompt sounds like this: suggest edits to this page that would help it rank higher by better indicating its relevance for the key phrases in the data set. Focus on recommendations for including phrases that were not used on the page, but that did appear in the data set. And by the way, I don't want any keyword stuffing here. Make suggestions that improve the flow and clarity of the content. Highlight the recommended changes. See what I'm doing? I'm telling it how to improve relevance based on data that I gave it. I want it to make it sound good. I'm telling it to make it sound, pay attention to the flow. I want it to highlight the changes. I like this. I'm pretty good with this. This looks good to me. If you read these two, the current sentence says social media streams are crowded, fast flowing, and competitive. The recommendation, the suggested edit says, navigating the crowded and competitive social media video landscape can be daunting. That reads well, and it's keyword focused. So that's just a quick example of how I'm having AI recommend copy edits to both improve relevance without sacrificing readability based on data from Google Search Console. You're getting all these slides. You could look through and just decide for yourself if you agree or disagree with that, this being workable edits or a good starting point, right? Not starting from scratch. Next, I'm going to go through as many of these as I have time for. There's a bunch of them. Next, optimizing title tags for better click-through rates. I'm going to use Search Console data and Google Analytics data, GA4. My hypothesis here is that you have pages that rank but get fewer than expected clicks based on their position in search. If you could find all of those very easily, you could make improvements to those title tags to better align with psychology of the searcher and improve click-through rates, right? So to find all the phrases, to find all the pages that have lower than expected click-through rates based upon their search position, I'm going to give it this data set here first. Google Analytics, or Google Search Console. This time I'm just going to focus on my content marketing, not a specific URL, but the entire blog. So pages that include blog, because that's part of my directory structure /blog. And I will also want to, again, exclude all the branded queries. I'm going to export that. When you export from Google Search Console, it actually gives you 5 files. You're going to pick just the one you want, open it, look at it. I don't need all of these. I actually deleted all of there's plenty of data in here already. So I actually just removed all the data with 0 clicks. But the problem is this file does not have any title tags. It's only Search Console data. Search Console doesn't show title tags. Where do I get title tags? GA4. Let's go. So here I am in GA4, and I'm in the Pages and Screens report with the primary dimension, also known as the first column, set to page title. These are my title tags. And then my the secondary dimension, click the plus, is page path. So I don't really need any of this data. All I'm trying to do is to map together URLs and title tags. Okay, when you click export, you got that data. Google Analytics data is not as clean. When you export to CSV, it always makes these 9 rows at the top that have just comments in them. Delete those and do it manually, because ChatGPT might figure it out, but it's going to be more work for it. And you're going to watch it try to chug and trial and error and try different things, and it'll work hard to remove that. Just remove it for it. Help out the AI, right? Help help your AI, right? It's going to help you. Okay, I've learned since I made this slide that I could have uploaded both of those at the same time. When I made this at first, I just uploaded them separately with 2 separate prompts, but here is what it looks like. I'm giving you data from Google Search Console. Can you analyze? The answer is yes. I'm giving you data on the title tags for each of those URLs. And now this might need some more work. Remove all the mentions of my brand, right? remove all non-English titles, remove all titles with special characters. You could fix the file first, or you could have AI work on it. But either way, all we want is the titles and URLs, because then we can say merge with the first data set, provide a link to download. It actually did it beautifully. Click on the link. There's rows in here you don't need, like it's got top pages and standardized URLs and page path. But the point is, it's got titles and URLs and their click-through rates and their search position. Okay, you ready for the analysis? You're an expert SEO, expert at analyzing search performance, and you're an expert also in the psychology of click-through rates. You're an expert at maximizing engagement within a search results page. Isn't that the perfect person to work with on this? That's where we're telling the AI, that's the role. Which of these pages has lower than expected click-through rates based upon its average search position? Think about that. It ranks, it's visible, it's getting impressions, but no one's clicking. Why not? Maybe the title tag just isn't very compelling. It draws a chart. That chart is useless to me. I'll show you other charts that are useful. That one is not. And then at the end, it actually just, without even a second prompt, it just started working on it and basically wrote for me better title tags. These read well to me. I like these. I can imagine how these might improve click-through rates. And look, it's a lot of them. I actually, in subsequent prompts and more experiments, I actually got it to create a spreadsheet for me that I could download with the current and the suggested. This is like SEO at scale almost. Like it's like there's a bulk aspect to this method. So very easy for me to imagine that these could improve the click-through rates because these are, and it's clever, it's smart SEO, right? Because these are things that are already ranking. It's clever SEO because you can get more traffic without ranking better. You don't even have to rank higher to get more traffic, right? All you have to do is improve the click-through rate. How? Work with an AI that happens to be, because you told it, an expert at the psychology of click-through rates. Just for fun, kind of an experiment. I don't really trust this, but I decided to ask it, how much more traffic could I expect if all these title tag improvements bring all these URLs right up there into the expected range? The answer, 700 clicks per month. Try it for yourself. Test that out and see if that worked for you. Okay, moving right along. We're going to keep going. I'm moving quickly, I know, but we don't have tons of time, and you're going to get all these slides and the recording. So I'm giving myself permission to just plow ahead. Adding depth with FAQ content. We're going to load content into the AI. We're going to load questions into the AI. We're going to ask it to find gaps, and then we're going to fill those gaps, right? Analysis, insight, action. That's not just for AI and SEO, but that's all digital marketing, right? Insights to action. That's our job. That's what we do. That's the sport of digital marketing. The following web page was optimized for the phrase, get ranked higher in Google. It's an article that I wrote. Fantastic article. I highly recommend it. If you can find it, it doesn't rank that well. If you can find it, it's a super detailed piece. Is it the best piece? Is it the most comprehensive? Is it missing anything? Probably yes. Let's get AI to help with a prompt. So summarize this article's keyword relevance, copy, paste in the article, right? Assuming that it doesn't exceed the character limit, it doesn't choke on that. Now I'm going to go into Google and just type in the primary target key phrase, get ranked higher on Google. I made this slide last week. I think starting this week, this section is now called More Questions. Maybe that's just for me. I'm seeing a different header. People also ask box might have changed the name, whatever, it doesn't matter. Questions, expand, collapse, expand, collapse. Pick some you like and expand and collapse them, and pretty soon you can get a dozen or more questions. Copy it, paste it. Which of these following questions are not directly answered by the web page? Which of the following questions are directly answered? Part of what you're watching me do here in the first use and the third use cases here I'm giving you is gap analysis. I think that is one of AI's superpowers. And you're going to see me consistently do that. I want to find what I missed. If you want to improve the relevance of your content and therefore hopefully improve the rankings and hopefully attract more visitors and hopefully generate more revenue, a lot of that is just about covering off on things that you missed. Modern SEO is semantics and intent. So we need to, the best page on the internet for that topic should also mention these subtopics. Here are a bunch of questions. What did I not ask? What did I not address? Here they are. These are the things that I did not address on the page. Very difficult, time-consuming, error-prone for a human to try to do that kind of gap analysis. AI does it in seconds. Great. You can imagine what the next prompt is. Write a new, detailed FAQ section that answers the questions that were not directly answered on the current page. You found my content gaps. Now go fill my content gaps. This is a little bit cheesy. I don't love this kind of SEO, this sort of copy paste, sort of lazy SEO. I think that there's better ways to add value. Margarita just showed us a bunch of ways to add value. Strong opinion, original research, legit thought leadership, visual content, influencer collaboration. This is really just, I guess that the benefit is maybe it could be easily delegated. This feels like it could be scaled, but it's definitely low effort. Maybe it works. I'm showing you, decide for yourselves. But this actually does read pretty well. These are questions I didn't answer, and here are the answers to those. And this was obviously good semantic SEO. Google told us these are the relevant and important questions related to my target key phrase. Decide for yourselves. Moving on. Identify missing topics on key pages. This is actually a more comprehensive approach that I like much better because it incorporates that element of empathy, that audience focus. So this is not just SEO. This is for conversion optimization. I'm not a top line marketer. I'm a bottom line marketer. I'm trying to generate leads. So I'm always focused on the audience every bit as much as I'm focused on, I care as much about the mousetrap as I care about cheese. I don't just want visitors for their own sake. I guess if you're like a media site or something, or, a content brand and you just need traffic, you're selling ads maybe. Okay. In this one, I'm going to give myself a business. I'm going to be a spacecraft launch services company and a spaceport. My target audience is commercial satellite operators. So my very first prompt, if you don't have clearly defined ICPs or buyer personas, you can actually have AI help you with that. It's a clever prompt because you're telling it who you're selling to. Build me a persona of a job title, commercial satellite operator who works for a company, global telecom company, and list the roles, the goals, the challenges and pain points, and tell me the decision criteria of this person's process for selecting a spaceship launch services company. Does a lovely job of making a quick persona for you. I did a video about this we could share, but it's AI does nice personas. And if you make that the beginning of your process, you can refer back to that as you go, again, finding gaps in your content, gaps that aren't just for, indicating relevance in search, but gaps that are there for, addressing for commercial intent pages, for sales pages, product pages, service pages. The job of these pages is to answer your prospects' top questions. The best sales pages emulate a sales conversation. So I probably should at least consider mentioning these important things. Here's this person's prioritized information needs. My next prompt sounds like this. The problem with this was that it was missing stuff. Even just based on my quick research, I found that there's important considerations that were missed. So if that's not complete or comprehensive, just have it add to it. Add these decision criteria. Geopolitical considerations, ride share. Apparently satellite operators want ride share opportunities. You can launch 2 satellites with one rocket. Insurance and risk management. Look, the previous prompt missed risk management. Commercial satellite operators probably care about risk management. Okay, so now I've got a better persona. Don't take anything it makes for granted. Go improve it, test it, validate it, review it, edit it. Okay, now I've got a web page. This is a pretty crappy web page. Any of us, any digital marketing pro on this, there's bunches of us here on this webinar who would look at this and know how to make it better right away. We're going to use AI. This is partly an exercise. It's a short page. It's got a header. It's got a subhead. It's got 3 big paragraphs. It ranks 28 for spacecraft launch services. Review the following web page content, AI. How well does it align or not align with this persona's information needs? Copy and paste in the page. Ready? Now it's going to tell me what my page was missing from the sales and conversion perspective. It aligned in some ways. It did not align in some ways, right? There's definitely some information gaps. Now I'm going to add a competitors page for comparison. Here's another web page. It's like create a matrix comparing the two. Copy and paste in the page. It actually made a lovely little chart showing the ways in which my page satisfies my audience's information needs, the extent to which my competitors page satisfies my audience's information needs. Great. I'm going to go update this page, but I need visitors or I'm not going to win at the at lead gen. So let's do some SEO. I can quickly find by hand a bunch of semantically related key phrases. Just start searching for a term and you find some semantically related key phrases. Great. Take those out of there, put them on a list. The people also ask, or what now, more questions box. These are semantically related key phrases, right? Semantically related subtopics and questions. Great. Find those, put those on a list. And even just searching for your primary target key phrase, if you scan down and look at what phrases were bolded, you'll find some phrases that you weren't even in there, your initial query, right? So these are other things that you could put on your list, like spacecraft launch services. The word satellite is bolded here. Well, that's a semantically related phrase. I need to acknowledge our sponsor because they have an amazing tool for this, the on-page SEO checker from SEMrush. Probably many of you are already SEMrush users. just if you put the page in, you've got a project for your brand, and you load in the page, it'll make a bunch of recommendations for you. That's it. That's basically what you need. You're going to copy those and put them into your next prompt. Now, I find I get better results when I have AI categorize things first. If you just give it tons of stuff, it sometimes isn't focused enough. So I'm going to narrow it a little bit by asking it to first categorize these into high-level topics. Categorization is another of AI superpowers. And it categorizes them beautifully, including like, a list of launch vehicles and a list of geographic region, a list of entities. Awesome. Here's my very detailed prompt to get my ideal outcome. Hey, AI, build me a table with 3 columns. In the first column, list my persona's information needs and prioritize them. That's already interesting. In the second column, make a heading called conversion clarity, and on a scale of 0 to 5, in that column, show the page's ability to inform and persuade. And then in the third column, make a heading called key phrase relevance, and on a scale of 0 to 5, show the extent to which we incorporated the related phrases. This chart is gold for me. In my world, right, we're a web development company. We do website optimization and web design. That's a lot of what you need. This is like a cheat sheet. These are the prioritized information needs of my buyer. This is the extent to which I satisfied their information needs. And that's the third column shows me, did I cover off on the related key phrases or not? That right there on your screen is what that's all a lot of people need to go make it a far, far better page. Both cheese and mousetrap, conversion and SEO, CRO and SEO. So I love that a little bit, and I'm happy to share it with you. It's just a series of prompts that you're building toward this. You can give it competition, you can give it semantically related key phrases, you can give it a page, and so forth. So you can see I'm building this up. This is not a single lazy prompt at all. I don't know what the score was. It devised this new scoring system. Hey, what's your scoring system? Check it out. Looks pretty good. I was just curious. Okay, next step. You can imagine now with the next step, the remedy. You're an expert at both conversion copywriting and SEO. Write an outline for a major revision to that web page. That outline will become the structure for a page that gets 5s across the board. Look, I didn't even have to give it the criteria. It already devised its own scoring system. So all I had to do was to say, give me an outline for a page that can get 5s. I don't ask it. So one of the most common questions is, can AI write articles? Can AI write pages? I think that's a weird question because the word write can mean a lot of different things. We're wrapping up an annual blogger survey. I got 1,000 bloggers to answer 20 questions, and one of them is about AI. How do you use it? Brainstorming, keyword research, structure, draft, revisions, edits. These are all part of writing. Writing's not one thing. So I don't jump in and tell it to write something for me. I'm going to have it make an outline first, improve that, and then make a draft first, improve that. You can imagine, right? This is an iterative process. It's a powerful assistant. I'm not abdicating my job. Okay. But the outline, I think is pretty good. I would definitely edit this. There's some really good things in here, some ideas maybe I didn't have. So that's, again, kind of finding the gaps. And then obviously from here, I could have it write a page. I did have it write a page, and then I asked it to create a chart scoring. I said, using an unusual visualization, show the scoring of the original page and the new page with charts. It used a spider chart or like some kind of like radial arm chart or something. Very cool. Not that practical, but you're a service provider working with a client, bring that to a meeting. They might like it. Or you're at a brand and you've got a boss, bring this to a meeting. They might like it. Or you're publishing an article and you need a visual, right? I'm using these like long shot prompts where it's like, using an unusual visualization method, find an unexpected insight, or visualize an unexpected insight. Just throw stuff at it, right? How would Leonardo da Vinci visualize this? It's like actually had a pretty good answer, like fascinating stuff, right? These long shot prompts cost us $0. You just have to type it and then see if it comes back with anything interesting. 80% of them stink, just throw them away. The others are kind of interesting or worth bringing up in a call. Okay. Keyword first, page audit improvements is a little bit different approach. I'm going to actually use SEMrush data in this case to find gaps, and I want to use a bit of competitive analysis. So the keyword gap report in SEMrush, this is going to show me my page versus my competitor's page. You can do the whole website. I'm working on one URL, so I've got each of these set to exact URL. Exact URL of my homepage, exact URL of their homepage, and theirs, and theirs, and theirs. So that's, again, kind of a lovely chart. Brilliant bit of engineering that draws charts like this. I'm always impressed. But down below is what we need. That shows us all the phrases for which we rank, all the phrases for which they rank, and the overlap. Really, I don't really need the filters in this case. I'm just going to go to all, and there's my export button. I love those export buttons, right? It's like suddenly, we live in a world where, a year ago, a CSV file was maybe useful. Today, CSV files extremely useful. Just keep an eye out, right? Look for CSV files anywhere you find them and just upload them. One thing you can do is just say, here's a CSV file. What should I ask you about it? Here's a CSV file. How should I prompt you for this? Here's a CSV file. What kind of insights might I be able to get from this in the context of X? Anyway, so here's a bunch of data. I don't need all of this data. I could probably delete some of these columns. It's not all necessarily useful. I recommend always cleaning it up a little bit. I've never wanted data more in my life than I do now. And ironically, you're going to spend quite a bit of time in spreadsheets cleaning stuff up before you upload it, because you're going to get a better result faster. It takes a lot of time to save time. It's very time consuming to get good at things. You're going to be less efficient in the short run, potentially. Okay, upload it. SEMrush homepage keyword competition.csv, I named it. You're an expert SEO. I'm giving you keyword data showing the SEO performance of your homepage compared to the keyword performance of these competitors' pages. Can you analyze? Sure, it's happy to. Next prompt. Your goal is to revise that homepage to rank for more of the phrases that you do not rank for, but your competitors do. What additional commercial intent key phrases are the best opportunities for our homepage based on the rankings of the competition? See, this is not blue sky keyword research. I'm not starting from scratch with like a tool, things that might be relevant, might not be. I'm starting with my competitors' key phrases, right? These are real world competitors. I know them. I see them on the battlefield. I chose them because I know that they're the ones that I'm really, really up against. So, for analysis on a page like a home page, like it's especially relevant. I get good results in SEO by ignoring competition frequently, but in this example, this is useful. You'll see in a second. You can sort of see how these companies position themselves differently. So yes, it's going to make us a bunch of suggestions. Kind of amazing, right? Satellite launch. Wait, we're not ranked at all. The competitors are ranked. Keyword difficulty. And I love that it left the CPC in there, because that's like heat. It's like the temperature. It's like the likelihood of conversion. If people are investing in that key phrase, then people must be converting from that key phrase, or so you'd think. So these are all opportunities. Next, I like doing this. You're inside advanced data analysis, so why not ask it to visualize? And especially if you're giving a webinar, let's add some color. Draw a chart visualizing the relative size of the opportunity for the top 10 key phrases in this analysis. Well, to draw a chart, it has to come up with a metric. To come up with a metric, it made its own metric. Its own metric is called opportunity score. It's the search volume times the keyword difficulty times the cost per click. Pretty interesting. Colorful, great. Practical, sure. Accurate, maybe not. It's got a misspelling in there. Okay, so check the work, look closely, review that carefully. But the next prompt is probably obvious. Here's a copy of our homepage. Apply your SEO expertise in writing 3 additional paragraphs. Again, that kind of cheesy shortcut approach to SEO, just adding additional content. The reason for that here is partly so I don't reduce relevance for other phrases by editing something and maybe changing some keywords that are important to search, important to my ranking. So I'm just additive in this little model. Apply your SEO expertise, copy and paste in the homepage. It has no problem with that. It writes a new page. I sometimes find I have to tell it, like, use no key phrase more than once, or use at least 10 of the related key phrases, because you get a lot of keyword stuffing, which is bad, unnecessary, unhelpful, bad for reading. And also, this would need to be edited anyway. I think this is actually hilarious copy. It's using like classic B2C. It's not very good. Listen, our company is proud to be your one-stop solution for launch space requirements. One stop. I'm a spaceport. Rockets don't make stops. Of course, there's just one stop. It's like it sounds like B2C copywriting. It's just like low. It's like it's a little bit salesy. One-stop solution. So if I'm only trying to get a 20% efficiency gain, I'm going to get that for sure, because there's enough good stuff here. but I would never copy and paste this into a page expecting that it, it's going to match the voice of my brand. I'm not doing it here today, but if you want to train AI on your copywriting style, just say, here's 5 samples of emails that Andy wrote, summarize, blah, 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 blah. Andy writes like this. Great. Now in Andy's style, write an email promoting this article, copy and paste in the article. You can easily train AI to write in a certain brand tone of voice. Probably the future of brand standards is to just have a series of prompts where you train the AI on the standards of the brand instead of some creative brief that sits in a drawer. Keyword realignment is our next model. It's very likely that you have pages that rank for stuff that you paid no attention to, pages that you weren't even really, watching at all. Just go to Search Console and find some of those accidental rankers. Like, what? I didn't optimize that thing for anything. Content strategy 2, like it must be like another article I wrote on a topic. So I'm going to evaluate the performance of that phrase against its apparent primary key phrase and ask AI to suggest a new primary key phrase. So same model. I'm going to filter out everything but that one URL, which you can do by just click on the row, and it creates that filter. And then I'm going to export it right there. That's all. Now, if you copy and paste in web pages, as I've been doing, it's only going to get the copy of the page. But what about the other elements, right? What about the title tag and the meta description? You can also give AI HTML. So here I'm in Chrome, I'm going to File, Save Page As, grab the HTML for the page. And here I am, I finally figured out I can upload 2 files at once. There are the queries, there's the HTML. I'm giving you HTML for a blog post that attracts visitors from search. I'm also giving you Google Search Console data showing the key phrases for which it ranks. You are an SEO and a keyword research expert. Your goal is to increase traffic to this page. Examine the HTML to determine the target key phrase. Examine the query data to determine if the target key phrase should be adjusted. What would realignment look like? What key phrase should this page really target? It came back and had some interesting ideas, right? It's looking at the performance of the page against that phrase. Decent analysis, I like that. Now, recommend a new primary target key phrase. I'm going to agree. Because I hadn't really done anything with that page, right? We should find all these things that are just sitting out there that are kind of getting some traction. Don't pay any attention to them, because now it's very efficient to pay enough attention to them to get better performance from them. Well, you've been content marketing for very long. You might have 50 of these things or 100 of these things, right? So I think that's a great opportunity. The next one would be simple, the obvious prompt. I've been doing it all along. Suggest the changes to the existing copy based on that target key phrase. Highlight the changes. And because I started with HTML, it's actually going to give me something like a title tag here too. When it was just body copy, it's just suggesting body copy edits. So, you can decide for yourself, if this, how useful this was. You can continue to prompt and continue to train. That was only a couple of prompts, but you get the idea. Mostly I just want to share the ideas here, and you can run with these frameworks or add them to your systems or processes, or I wouldn't be surprised if a few of you out there go build a tool that does these things. Like, it's an era, I think there's like 1,000 AI companies launching per month right now. So maybe some of you have that perspective. I welcome you to do it. So this is just, these exact match key phrases are not very helpful. Look, they just added the exact match key phrase. So I'm going to prompt it to do better SEO copywriting, move beyond the target key phrase, suggest other changes to copy that incorporate the key phrases for which it ranks, but that do not appear on the page. I probably also should have added that sentence and said, also improve the clarity and flow of the content, highlight the changes. These are much better empirically, objectively. These are far better, I think. I'm happy with those. With a few minutes left, I want to show you an example of how to do semantic distance analysis, a level of analysis that I don't have the statistician skills to do without AI. You've written a bunch of stuff. What didn't you write? What did you almost write? What is that gap in the middle of things that you did write? What's missing? What's missing from your, they call it your elbow, your lifetime body of work? What's missing from your LBOW, that thing you almost made that you never made? So I'm going to give it 2 files again, the search performance and the title tags. You actually still have this merged file from earlier, remember? It's like in method 3, I think we did this. Merge those into one file with a single row used for a URL, use the most representative title for each, provide a link to download. It gives me, I'm always going to get that link to download. It does the text pre-processing and such. I'm going to give it and here's the prompt, the next prompt. You are an expert content strategist. You're an SEO. You're looking for new content, new topics to cover. Infer topics from the titles of the articles in the spreadsheet. Identify gaps using semantic distance analysis and suggest articles and topics that would fill those gaps. Semantic distance analysis is something that search engineers use. It's sort of like, is that duplicate content or not duplicate content? It comes up in that context. Like, are these topics and keywords far enough apart from each other that they are seen as unique or original in and of themselves? So that's actually, there's a metric for that. It's the distance, the semantic distance. Read about it on Wikipedia if you're interested. So what it comes back with is actually some interesting ideas for new topics. Makes sense, right? These are things like, I never wrote these articles, but I've almost written these articles. I've written around these articles for years. I could definitely write these articles. I've got 2/3 of the content already done for these. I've got a lot in mind on these topics, right? I wanted more detail, so I had it expand to 50 subtopics. It was starting with 5. It did a relatively bad job. You can see there's like noise in here. Really, it would help if I told it marketing topics. Expand the topics to 50 marketing subtopics. Tell it the type of topic. It's too broad otherwise. So that's an improvement that I realized after I made this slide. But these things look great. They look really good to me. I've never written the advanced GA4 setup for SEO tracking, but I could totally write that article. I've almost written that article. Let's see if it does a visualization using a red X. Show where that article, gaps, or GA4 setup for SEO, fit in. It actually drew a chart showing me hypothetically where that was. If every article is an X, the red X is the one I didn't write. You can see the gap, the distance between the articles. Interesting, not very practical. But then we're not going to start from scratch. Margarita promised you I'd show you very briefly Content Shake. I'm going to use a tool now, paid tool, SEMrush tool for writing that actual article. This is a power tool. You can see this is going to go far beyond what I could have done with AI. This is like an editor, like a writer who sits in front of you and you kind of just guide it a little bit. So first I just put in the topic, GA4, a gaps audit setup, and it makes some suggestions over there. You just click to select the header. It's like, you're sort of building this thing just by clicking based on, it gives you options and you choose. It gives you options and you choose opening paragraph. It gives you options and you choose for the subheads. So obviously it would need more editing, but talk about a head start. Like, it kind of like reads your mind. It's like choices and you just click and proceed. The advantages of that are huge, right? Because you almost wrote this article already. Borrow visuals and examples and data from other articles. Share it with the influencers who contributed to the other articles. Notify editors who linked to the other articles. It's an internal linking bonanza because there's this thing, it's like a hub that it's like a pillar cornerstone piece that like never existed. It's going to support everything else. It's going to be lots of opportunities for internal linking, which brings me to what I think might end up being our final method. We'll see if I have time for 2 more. I could go on, but now I'm going to use AI to suggest internal links. This is again, back to my titles and page path. I'm going to export this. This screenshot of GA4, I think, shows you everything you need to make this report. I put the dimensions and stuff all down here. When I teach GA4, I try to make the slide show everything that you need. And you don't need the step-by-step, but this is basically everything. You're a digital marketing analyst and an expert at making data-driven recommendations. Categorize the articles into topics. You can give it topics or have it categorize into topics. It put them into topics. And now this is a very short turnaround, 2 prompts. Generate a list of internal linking opportunities, mapping together articles of similar topics, where the page with the link has high traffic and the target page has high engagement. Magic, right? You want to link from the pages that have a lot of, link from the, put your best cheese on your best mousetraps. Link from the pages that attract a lot of visitors to the pages that have deep engagement or good CTAs or videos, or whatever causes that, engagement rate to be high. So it comes back, and with this is like prescriptive, straightforward, go do it now, make this a spreadsheet, send it to a team member. Let's go update these pages. Yes, editorially, you have to decide where they flow in. Oh, I do have one left, and I'm going to take the 3 minutes to do it. Quality rater guidelines, Margarita. We're going to coming down to the last few minutes here. Go to a web page and grab the HTML file for that page. You will act as a Google search quality rater. I'm giving you the content for a home page for a company that does this. I'm also giving you the HTML for that page. This page ranks for key phrase. You got to get the key phrase because relevance is part of the quality rater guidelines. Rate this page against DAT criteria in the search quality rater guidelines, and it does it. It does it. It gave me, it applied scores, right? Pretty interesting, pretty useful. How about another one? I'm giving you a different page from a competitor. Evaluate this page against its EAT criteria in the Search Quality Rater guidelines. And then here's a third page. I'm giving you this page. I want you to evaluate this page against its criteria for the Search Quality Rater guidelines. My final prompt, you know what I'm going to do next, right? Create a heat map matrix comparing the 3 websites against a wide range of EAT criteria. Lovely, useful, practical. I can almost see like the where we fit in the competitive mix, right? If I've got a cranky executive who says that, we're not doing something, I could maybe bring this and just say, well, compared to them, we are. You can imagine. And then the next prompt writes itself. How could the first website get all 5s against EAT criteria? Some of these are good. Some of these are obvious. As usual, choose your own adventure and decide what's relevant to you. What did I do? Everything I did was just me taking an existing process, taking this tool, looking for data, working through methods and frameworks and use cases that anyone could do. This is the template for coming up with your own. What blank is missing from blank? What answers, topics, keywords, formats are missing from this web page, this website, this content strategy? And finally, what data and prompts could you use to get you there? You guys, I feel like we covered a lot. This felt like one of those 1 1/4 speed podcasts. We went quickly, but I was happy to teach it. Margarita, maybe we could find another way to get the questions and address them, maybe on like you and I have a conversation about it or something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we will definitely go back. We'll review all the questions and we'll find a good, a best way to address them. We'll see. Create some content to do that.
Love it. Fantastic. That was great stuff. And we do have some questions, so we'll make sure that we get those over to you all. I don't know if you could see the chat, but I appreciate everybody who answered questions for someone else. So it was great to see that community in there. But great praises for Andy and Margarita for the content and for sharing with them. So thank you all. Before we let you go real quick, Andy, Margarita, do you want to tell the people where to find you?
Sure. I mean, LinkedIn works great for me. The same name as you see on the landing page.
And for me, find me on LinkedIn, please. And it says the blue button says follow because I changed that in the settings. You can just go to more and go to connect and just say, saw you on the SEJ webinar. So please connect with me. Don't hesitate to connect with me. That's my best channel, and I'm happy to answer any questions or engage with you there.
Same here.
Love it. Perfect. Whoever said they liked my shelf stuff, Halloween has come a little early. We're ready to go in this house. So I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Andy, I know you've got somewhere to be, so we will see you all on the next SEJ webinar. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thanks, Heather. Good to see you, Margarita.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care, you guys.